Hey guys, Brian Simmons here with Career Intellect. Thanks for joining me today on this video. As always, I want to bring you a good piece of content today that I think will really help you in your career as well as your life. So let's get started. Now, specifically, I want to talk about 7 things that successful people do differently. And these are things that I believe that we can all incorporate into our own lives and will hopefully help you have success in your life and in your career as well. So before we get into the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you know whenever I put up new content. It should be about once a week going forward now. The first thing that successful people do differently is wake up early. Now this is probably one that you've heard a million times before. There's nothing new about it, right? However, a lot of these lists seem to talk about, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I watch the sunrise and I meditate and I go walk the dog. Those are fine, those are great things, but for somebody just getting started out, it's kind of hard to implement some of those things and get up that early just because, right? However, I think one thing that we can all do from waking up early is exercise. I think that's probably been what I've been most successful at when I get up early. It's something that I'm not just sitting around, reading a newspaper or meditating, something that's going to make me want to go back to sleep. So I get up and I go outside and I go for a run, or I hop on the treadmill, or I do something active. So that really helps me to wake up, number one, and it gives me a good start on the day. I'm not sleepy, like when I go into work. And exercise in general gets the brain going, gets the mind working, and it's really good for any type of productivity. All right, so number 2 on the list, don't make excuses. This is something that a lot of us tend to do whenever something doesn't go right. We tend to lash out and blame this person or that person, or blame the world in general. Everything bad happens to me, and there's nothing that I can do about it. That is really bad when it comes to being successful, because if you blame other things or other people, you never take accountability for the things that you have control over. It means you can never fix them, so you can never improve yourself. And that makes it difficult to actually make any changes, because you feel, well, what's the point of making a change if at any time the universe can decide that they don't want me to succeed, and then everything comes crashing down. But that doesn't really work, so don't make excuses. Now, our third thing on the list is to learn from our mistakes. This is something that a lot of people who have seen success in their career, they always talk about some of their biggest mistakes, some of their biggest failures, and what they don't do is they don't dwell on them, right? They take that failure and the feeling of that failure and they use it to drive them forward and do more and better things, and they're determined to never make that same mistake again. They absorb the feeling of that failure and they do their best to avoid that feeling at all costs. And that's something that's really common amongst people who have been really successful in their life and in their career. They just take ownership of it and it doesn't defeat them. The fourth thing on our list today is to work with your deficiencies. This is one thing that you really hear a lot of people talk about. They know what they're good at and they know what they're not good at. And it's really difficult, if you're really not good at something, to become great at that one thing. And what you'll find, a lot of people who have had success, they focus on their strengths and they work to improve and get the best in their industry on what they are the best at. There are a lot of things that they're not great at. So what they do is they outsource it, right? They either hire somebody else to do it, or what they do is they'll create a system to help counteract some of those flaws that they have. If they have a hard time trying to remember people's names. They have a system where they always write somebody's name down, or they say it 3 or 4 times. If they're bad at numbers, instead of trying to get good with math and try to learn all these different skills, they just bring a calculator with them. Simple things. Don't beat yourself over the head trying to fix something that it really takes years and years to actually try to improve. And in the end, you still may not be the best at that thing. But don't worry about it. Just don't fight it. So our 5th thing on the list is focus on one task. I'm sure most of you have like a to-do list that you keep track of on a daily basis, or you were thinking about doing one, and you basically just list out 5 or 10 things, and you go down the list and you check them off. What you really need to do is you can make the list, and then you need to prioritize that list. Say, well, which one of these things is the most important thing that I need to get done? Better yet, which one of these things will make everything else on this list obsolete, right? Then focus on completing that one task. Do that first. If you complete that first for the day, great. Then you can move on to the other items, but focus on doing that one thing first. Doing the most important thing is the most important thing, right? The 6th thing on the list that successful people do differently is continuous improvement. A lot of us will graduate high school and then go on to college, and then once we graduate college, we never really do anything else with our education. We never go back for any other courses. We never read on our own. That's something that successful people do all the time. They're always learning, they're always reading, they're always studying from somebody who was the best in their industry. They're trying to learn from the best and trying to grow each and every day. That's something that you really need to implement as part of your life. Like find a book of somebody who is really successful in your industry, and take the book, read the book, study it, understand what they've done. Maybe even take some other courses. So maybe take some courses online, which will help you be even better in your industry. Anything to really get you to that next level. Never stop after you've completed your formal education in college. That's the one thing that I've learned from listening to other successful people. They learn from the people who they view as like mentors and who are their idols, right? There's always somebody who is at the next level, and you need to really be learning from them. The last thing on this list is take action. We have all these great ideas, and we're gonna do all these great things. We're gonna work out, we're gonna start a business, we're gonna get a raise at work, we're gonna get a promotion, everything. But if we never actually do anything, if we're always planning and talking about it and reading up on it, watching YouTube videos, it's just not gonna happen. You need to go out there tomorrow and take the first step. That's the most important thing you can do. Anybody who is successful, they're not ones who sit and ponder and labor over every decision. They just make a decision and then they act on it, period. That's the best way for you to get success in your life and in your career. Take action. So that's it for today. Those are the 7 things that successful people do differently than the rest of us. Take this list, study it, watch the video again, share it. These are things that are really important, and I think that they will really help you with your career. As always, hit the subscribe button, come back for our next round of videos, and we'll see you next time.